Not all rich people are the same. And the biggest financial mistake most people make is assuming they are. The man driving the Ferrari and the man driving the 2019 Honda Accord parked beside him at the same traffic light might both have a net worth of $10 million, but they are completely different types of rich, with completely different relationships to their money, completely different levels of security, and completely different futures. Today, I'm going to show you every type of rich person, what they actually own, how they actually think, and which type is genuinely winning, versus which type is one bad year away from losing everything. This is every type of rich person. Explained in 6 minutes. Type 1, the new money, Jake got rich fast, startup exit, crypto timing, a business that scaled unexpectedly, and the money arrived before Jake had any framework for understanding it. New money is the most visible type of wealth, because new money does not know yet that visibility is a liability. The Ferrari is new money. The watch that costs more than a car is new money. The table at the restaurant that requires a deposit is new money. New money is not bad. It is just unseasoned. It has not yet learned that the people who last are almost never the people who are loudest. The financial vulnerability of new money is significant because wealth that arrives quickly from a single source can depart the same way. And new money often makes the mistake of upgrading its lifestyle to match its peak net worth rather than its sustainable income, which means when the peak passes, the lifestyle does not adjust and the Ferrari gets repossessed quietly. Type 2, the old money. You will never see old money on Instagram. Old money does not post. Old money does not announce. Old money barely acknowledges itself because old money has been around long enough to understand that attention is risk. Old money holds land, fine art, private education, and businesses that have been generating cash flow for longer than most people have been alive. Old money thinks in generations, not quarters. The question old money asks is not, what will this be worth next year? The question old money asks is, what will this be worth when my grandchildren inherit it? Old money is the most financially secure type of wealth on this list because it is diversified across time, across asset classes, and across the attention of people who might want to take it. Type 3, the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur built something from nothing, and the wealth is real but concentrated, sitting almost entirely in the equity of a single business that the entrepreneur cannot easily sell and cannot easily leave. The entrepreneur is rich on paper in a way that does not always translate to life. They might own 70% of a business worth $40 million and not be able to pay their mortgage comfortably because the $40 million is locked inside a company that requires their presence to maintain its value. Entrepreneur wealth is the most active type of wealth on this list. It requires constant attention, constant decision making, constant risk, and the entrepreneur who stops working often finds that the wealth does not survive their absence. Type 4, the corporate rich. The corporate rich got there slowly. Salary increases, stock options that vested over years, a 401k that compounded quietly in the background. The corporate rich is the most common type of wealthy person in America and the most underappreciated because they did not build anything dramatic. They just showed up consistently for a very long time and let the system reward consistency the way it always does. With compounding, the financial security of the corporate rich is real but fragile in one specific way. It is almost entirely dependent on the continuation of employment, and the stock options that make up a significant portion of their net worth are concentrated in one company. Type 5, the investor. The investor is the type of rich person that most financial content is trying to help you become. The investor did not necessarily earn more than anyone else. They just consistently deployed what they earned into assets that generated returns. The investor owns index funds, rental properties, dividend-paying stocks, and possibly equity in businesses they did not build. The investor's wealth works while they sleep and grows whether or not they show up anywhere tomorrow. The investor is financially secure in a way that the entrepreneur is not, because the wealth is not dependent on any single business, any single employer, or any single decision. It is spread across thousands of companies, multiple asset classes, and decades of compounding. Type 6, the inherited did not build anything, did not invest anything, did not climb any ladder. They were born at the top of one, and inherited wealth is not inherently different from built wealth. Money is money, but the psychological relationship to inherited wealth is completely different from the psychological relationship to earned wealth, because the person who built the money understands exactly how it was created and exactly what would be required to rebuild it if it were lost. The person who inherited it often does not, and that gap in understanding is the reason why the saying shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations exists in almost every culture on earth. Type 7, the paper rich. The paper rich has a net worth statement that looks extraordinary and a bank account that tells a different story. Their wealth exists in illiquid assets, real estate that cannot be sold quickly, business equity that has no immediate buyer, collectibles whose value exists only when someone agrees to pay it. The paper rich person is technically worth millions and practically unable to access those millions without a complex transaction that might take months or years. Paper rich is not fake wealth, but it is wealth that requires patience and planning to actually use. Type 8, the quietly wealthy. This is the type that most people never see, and most financial channels never talk about. The quietly wealthy person has significant liquid net worth, diversified across multiple asset classes, generating passive income every month, and absolutely no visible indication of any of it. They drive the ordinary car, live in the ordinary house, shop at the ordinary grocery store, and are building something that will still be growing long after the Ferrari from Type 1 has been repossessed. And here's the truth about every type of rich person on this list. The ones who last are almost never the ones who are loudest. The Ferrari gets noticed, the index fund gets wealthy, the loud announcement gets remembered, the boring business gets paid, and the new money gets aplenty of attention. Right up until the moment it is gone, the type of rich that actually wins across time is the type that does not need anyone to know it is winning. It just keeps going, quietly, consistently, for decades, and wakes up one morning and realizes that the math has been working without permission, without announcement, and without anyone at the traffic light looking over. You have been decoded. If this video showed you something about wealth that changed how you categorize the rich people in your own life, subscribe to Money Decoder 3004. Every single week, we decode the financial systems and wealth types that shape every American's economic reality. Simply, honestly, and clearly. Drop a comment below. Which type of rich person are you building toward? Tell me below. I read every single comment, and I will see you in the next decode.